Hey guys, what's going on? It's DaleyTactics here, and I am back with a brand new series that I've been wanting to do for quite a while called Sunday Star Wars Stories, or at least that's what I'm calling it. And essentially what I would like to do in these videos is do more lore-heavy Star Wars storytelling videos. That could mean reading a comic and explaining what happened in the story. That could mean reading a book and explaining what happened in the story. That could mean diving deep into a particular piece of canon and talking all about what it means for the Star Wars universe, etc., etc. I am certainly not the first person to do this. There are many great YouTubers who do it. Geetsley's, Eckharts Ladder, Star Force 1, etc., etc. However, it is how this channel actually initially started if you go to the first few videos, and I've been keen to start doing it again. So I think every Sunday or so, we're going to be diving into a new piece of Star Wars literature. There will likely be some gameplay in the background of the video for fun, because there's two things I really want to get out of this. I want to be playing some more Star Wars Battlefront 2 for background footage, because I miss doing that, and I want to be able to do a little bit more reading and deep diving into the Star Wars literature. So that's the two goals of this series, and I hope you guys get something out of it too. So, this first week's book that I ended up picking up off of Amazon is Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Stories of Both Light and Dark. So what this book is an anthology from 11 different authors who write about the episodes in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. And what it really is actually a deep dive into more the psyche of the individual characters and the arcs that they received in the Clone Wars TV show. So the one we're going to be reading today is The Shadow of Umbara by Yoon Ha Lee. I'm not going to be reading it verbatim. I'm going to be summarizing a bit, reading a few passages, and also giving my takes on what's going on. But essentially, this is the Shadow of Umbara arc from the Clone Wars, but really diving into the perspective of Rex and how he felt during the entirety of the arc. Something we don't really get to see on the TV screen itself. You can only guess what he's thinking, but in this novelized version, we get a little bit more intel on what Captain Rex might be going through during this troublesome time. So, let's get right on into it here, boys. The start of the chapter begins by explaining how Rex is feeling right before the mission to Umbara. It says that Captain Rex of the 501st Legion had seen many worlds during his service. Some troopers complained that all the planets blurred together. Rex had never found that to be true. Each one had its own sights, sounds, smells. This latest one, Umbara, was a case in point. Rex goes on to explain how Umbara was a shadowy world. You really couldn't make out the difference between fauna and enemies, and it was as dangerous as it was dark. But despite this, Rex makes it clear in his head that the planet can be conquered by taking over its capital as quickly as you possibly can. Their big game plan was for General Kenobi to move in from the south, while Rex and his men would move in from the north with Skywalker and take out any enemy reinforcements that could possibly threaten the Republic assault from the south. At first, the battle went well, with Rex and General Skywalker taking cover and a Republic bomber managing to wipe out the entire first wave of opponents that was coming at them. Rex, however, did end up feeling surprised when a Republic gunship veered into their position. Rex was curious who it was. He wasn't really sure who could possibly be coming into this battlefield right now. As it turned out, it was General Krell, someone that Rex wasn't too familiar with, but had definitely seen before. Krell informed Skywalker that he has to go back to Coruscant. Skywalker is clearly disturbed by this, to Rex's eyes. However, Rex is quick to comfort the general by stating that his men will have this planet under Republic control in no time, and Skywalker can rejoin them afterwards. Skywalker begrudgingly accepts this. You can tell that Skywalker is really loyal to his men and wants to fight alongside them at all costs. And Rex understands this, himself feeling the same way, and so he wants to comfort his friend, to make sure he doesn't worry about the battle while he's on Jedi business. Upon Skywalker leaving, Rex is determined to make the best of the situation. He starts by complimenting the general. "Your reputation precedes you, General," he said to Krell. "It's an honor to be serving you." Krell's response took him aback. "I find it interesting that a clone recognizes the value of honor." His voice sharpened. Stand at attention when I address you." Rex did so, cursing himself. General Skywalker had never been so harsh, but he wasn't serving under Skywalker now. "Your flattery is noted," Krell went on, "but it will not be rewarded. There's a reason my command is so effective. It's because I do things by the book. Have all platoons ready to move out immediately." Rex hadn't intended flattery, but he wouldn't have dreamed of arguing with the general. I think in the Clone Wars itself, this is a very interesting plotline, because typically we see General Skywalker, General Kenobi, Ahsoka Tano, etc., being very decent to their clone troopers. They're in fact friends with them. However, Krell is not that way in the slightest, and in fact hates everything about clone troopers. I think this episode delivers great juxtaposition between the two types of Jedi in this, and of course it foreshadows a lot of what's to come in this arc as well. I think in Rex's mind it's pretty clear here that he himself is seeing the future a little bit, seeing that there will be some problems in this fight, and not just between the Umbarans and the clones, but also potentially between the clones and their generals. Rex certainly is not a dumb clone, and he can clearly read interpersonal communication rather well. Moving onwards, Rex continues to argue with Krell. Krell is not receptive to any of Rex's plans, even so much as Rex just trying to get comfort for his clone troopers underneath him, trying to get some rest in them, trying to get some food in them. Krell says no to all of it, and Rex feels as if it's helpless, and that they just have to go on. There's nothing they can do. But Rex could live with this. He was a soldier after all. What he couldn't live with was when Krell informed Rex that they were going to be executing a forward assault along the main route of the city, instead of any sort of ambush, flank, or really any other safer option than a forward assault. Rex argues as much as he can, clearly trying to get a better deal out for his troopers under him. Eventually, Krell snaps. "Are you questioning me? This battalion will take the main road straight to the capital. You will not stop no matter what resistance you meet. You will attack with all of our troops. Do I make myself clear? CT-7567. The address brought him up short. Another thing Skywalker had done differently. "Yes, General," Rex said stiffly. Once again, we see how Krell is just cruel to the clone troopers, not even addressing them by their names. Basically making it so they have no personality. They're just another number to him. It takes away all humanity from Rex. But what's worse is the actual actions. The words don't hit Rex that hard, but the idea that his men are going to be going straight into a trap is what has Rex nervous here. And what he is really starting to doubt is Krell's actual intentions. As they move forward, something horrible happens. The book reads, "Suddenly, a trooper screamed as fire exploded beneath his feet and flung him into the air. He was followed by another. 'Mines!' Rex shouted. 'Nobody move.' Everyone froze. 2 troopers checked the fallen. 'Oz is down,' one said. 'So is Ringo,' said the other. Following this, Umbarans ambushed them, coming from all sides. 'Hold your ground,' Rex roared, remembering Krell's orders. Never mind that they were surrounded, and that they had no cover. This truly demonstrates how Rex is a soldier first and foremost. He will not disobey orders, even if they are stupid and completely contrary to all of his previous training. What would normally be a good thing for his character is now turning quickly into a flaw, as his refusal to disobey is resulting in his brothers getting killed on the battlefield. But it also highlights how the structural system of the Republic military is inherently flawed as well. There is no way for these clone troopers to take out their leader or remove him democratically. This is an authoritarian army, and Rex can't do anything about it but follow orders. This results in a mass slaughter of the clone troopers. Soldier after soldier falls dead to the Umbaran's blasters. Hardcase tries his best to alleviate some of the pressure, using his rotary cannon to fire into the Umbarans and take them out. But it's no use. More and more clone troopers fall. And at this point, despite everything Rex knows, he does disobey orders. "Pull back," he said. "Get the Umbarans to follow us. If we can draw them out, we can see them. If we can see them, we can hit them. fall back now. An order that normally Rex would have implemented very early on, if not him, Ahsoka, or Anakin. But right now, he is the only one able to do it, and it is a direct disobeying of orders. A complete and utter act of cognitive dissonance from Rex. The troopers retreated, firing as they abandoned the assault. We had no choice, Rex thought to himself. Luckily though, Rex's decision saved a lot of clone troopers, as they managed to destroy the Umbarans, who did chase them after the retreat. Rex's relief was short-lived, however. CT-7567, General Krell roared. Do you have a malfunction in your design? You've pulled your forces back from the capital. The enemy now controls this route. This operation has been compromised because of your failure. He punctuated his words by jabbing Rex in the chest. Fives intervened. General Krell, Rex saved this platoon. Surely you won't fail to recognize that. To Rex's shock, Krell rounded on Fives and drew one of his lightsabers. It ignited an ominous green. ARC 5555, he growled. Stand down. A Jedi wouldn't do that, Rex thought. Or would he? Once again, another example of Rex not understanding what is going on. Everything he knows about the Jedi, every Jedi he's interacted with up until this point, has been completely different than Pong Krell. Everything he knows is being reversed before his very eyes by this crazed Jedi, going against everything that the Jedi Order stands for. And this is a pivotal moment for Rex. A moment that likely leads to his disobeyal of Order 66. A moment that foreshadows the ending of the Clone Wars completely, as he snaps back against the chain of command. Something completely out of question that he would do a mere few days before this event. He snaps at this Jedi, saying, "Sir, I followed your orders in the face of a plan I thought severely flawed. A plan that cost us men, not clones, men. While it's my duty to remain loyal to the command, I have another duty to protect those men." Krell doesn't relent in his opinions, and Rex feels betrayed not only by the Jedi at this point, but by his own feelings. Everything he previously knew has been flipped on his head, and he's feeling out of place right now. The Republic suddenly has a dark shadow cast over it. Following this confrontation, Obi-Wan Kenobi contacts Krell and informs them that they are to capture an airbase that's supplying the capital's defenses. Once again, because of this, Rex and his troopers are put in a position where the clones have to attack a narrow gorge. There are alternatives that can be thought of. New plans brought up. Surely Kenobi would be fine with that. However, Krell is not. He wants to go straight down the middle to take this base as soon as possible. The clone troopers themselves are not happy about this. They see no recon, no air support coming for them. This is going to be a slaughter. Rex at this point is thinking that this could be the end of the 501st itself if these battles continue to go the way they're going. But Rex is still willing to support the Republic. It's after all he knows right now, not to mention he's programmed to support the Republic, despite his current misgivings towards it. And he decides that we'll do what we have to do. The 501st Clone Trooper Legion will attack this airbase head-on, as Krell demands. After all, Rex does say that he's a recognized war hero, and he chalks things up to Krell doing things differently. I think what perfectly summarizes what's going through Rex's head is the final quote that he tells Fives after Fives complains about Krell, saying that he honors his code as a clone trooper. It was not something he was just willing to break outright. Yes, before he had directly contradicted orders from the top, but he wasn't about to commit high treason against a Jedi just yet. And this would come back to bite Rex in the butt, as he would go into the attack and lose countless troopers. Tanks came out of nowhere for the Umbarans, and their rockets just were not enough to take them out. Soldiers died because of this assault, completely needlessly, and it pained Rex to see it. He tries to reason with Krell, telling him that they had to pull back or get reinforcements. And Krell says that this is the attack. You need to go take the airbase right now. And so Rex continues to fight. More losses are coming through, and it's not looking good at this point. So Rex sends Hardcase and Fives off to do an incursion into the airbase to try and steal a ship. Krell noticed that the assault wasn't going as ordered, so he calls Rex. CT-7567, where are you? I've dispatched 2 men on a stealth incursion into the airbase, Rex said, glad he was talking to Krell over a holo. He hadn't forgotten how Krell had drawn his lightsaber on Fives. They've been ordered to co-opt enemy starfighters and use them against the tanks. Krell scoffed. You're hoping 2 clones can do what your entire group could not? This is for my men, Rex reminded himself. Sir, rocket launchers don't work on those tanks, and it'll be easier for them to slip by while the rest of us keep the tanks occupied. Captain, Krell boomed, you will launch a full forward strike immediately, or you will be relieved of duty. Rex could only do so much in the face of a direct order. He ordered the troops to hold position. The more time he could buy before they faced the tanks again, the better. It's clear here that Rex still does not want to commit treason against the Republic. But the more and more that this mad general pushes Rex's button, the more and more Rex is willing to go against orders and to find other ways. He's still sticking within the system as much as he can, but at some point, it's clear that he's going to have to go and confront Krell himself directly. This really, once again, demonstrates the flaws of the Republic's military system. The clone troopers hold no power. Meanwhile, Jedi, who are not warriors, who are not generals, get all of the power in the military. There are no checks and balances. There is nothing Rex can do in the heat of this battle to save him and his men from this treasonous Jedi. So he just has to keep going. It's a true flaw in the Grand Army of the Republic. Luckily, however, at the end, Rex's gamble had paid off and the airbase was, in fact, taken. He was able to report to Krell. General, Rex said, we have taken the base and cut off enemy supply lines to the capital. Luck has smiled on you today, Captain, Krell said. Rex bristled. It wasn't luck, sir. A lot of men died to take this base. He could have named them, but Krell wouldn't care. The price for victory, Krell said. Someday, you'll realize this. It's clear, despite Rex clearly being in the right, Krell's ego and his bitter bias against clone troopers will not allow him to admit that Rex was right. Not only that, but Krell would go on to make more suicidal plans. The attack on the capital was planned for Rex's troopers to head on straight into missiles. Things that would surely destroy the 501st outright. They would not survive this if it was to go through. But the foil to Rex and really every other clone trooper in this battle is Dogma. Dogma is perhaps an example of what every other clone trooper who has served under Krell has thought as they serve under him. Surely there'd be more insurrections under Krell's command if there were more troopers who thought like the 501st did. So Dogma is really giving us an allusion to sort of appeasement or bystanderism that normally would happen under Krell's command, that allowed him to continue to abuse clone troopers for this long. And it's only until Rex and Fives and Echo and these free thinkers that Anakin has taught to be free thinkers come along that Krell is actually challenged. So Dogma really does represent a great foil here. And so Dogma says, you're all overreacting. General Krell knows what he's doing. Do you really think he doesn't care if he loses men? Men, Rex thought. Krell had made it clear what he thought of the difference between clones and men. After all this discussion, later that day, Fives, Jesse, and Hardcase approach Rex, and they decide to go on a mission to destroy the enemy supply ship, which would essentially lead to them not having to use They're troopers in a ground assault against the missiles like Pawn Krell wants. When Rex is approached by these troopers, he thinks that there's only one answer he can possibly give. I can't help you when you get caught. I understand, sir, Five says. Rex wondered if he'd ever see them again. His brothers, troopers who had fought alongside for years now, would just be gone, having to fight a battle that they should not have to fight if there was a better Jedi under their command. And sadly, only Fives and Jesse returned. Hardcase had sacrificed himself to take out the supply ship. Rex wanted to mourn Hardcase properly, but there was no time. Krell had ordered Rex to escort the two troopers to the tower. There, the troopers would be court-martialed, found guilty, and executed later. Rex tried to intervene and stop him. Rex explains how he cannot court-martial them, and so instead, Krell chooses to prepare a squad for execution, skipping the entire jury situation. Rex at this point feels defeated. The entire system that he was incorporated in was failing completely. But it wasn't even that it was failing him, it was failing his friends. And he cared about his friends more than he could ever care about himself. That was truly the crushing blow for Captain Rex. Luckily, Rex managed to get a stay of execution when Waxer called in on the comms, saying that they needed assistance with the Umbarans in a frontal assault. Rex goes out to fight with his troopers, but quickly learns that the clones that they were fighting, that Krell had told them might be disguised Umbarans, were actually the 212th Clone Trooper Legion, under the command of Waxer. This is the scene where Rex discovers this. Rex's blood sang with fury. The enemy fought as well as clones too. They aimed with devastating precision. His men were taking heavy casualties. Driven to unmask his opponents, Rex sprinted ahead of the main force. He spotted one of the fallen hostiles and bent to remove the stolen helmet. To his horror, the unmoving face he revealed was the same as his. "Stop firing," Rex yelled. "We're shooting at our own men. They're not Umbarans, they're clones. Take off your helmets, show them you're not the enemy." Disorder spread at the appalling news. Rex's troopers hesitated, but one by one they followed his orders. "Look," Rex called to the other side. Their own side. He grabbed a trooper and pulled off his helmet. "We're all clones." The men on both sides stopped firing and stared at each other, aghast. Later, Rex manages to find Waxer in the chaos. "Waxer," Rex said gently, "tell me who ordered to attack us." Waxer, who was already weak, coughed. "It was General Krell. He sent us here to stop the enemy. We thought the Umbarans were wearing our armor." The same story Krell had fed Rex. "But it was you." Rex clenched his hand, and Waxer took his last breath. Hardcase may have died up in a spaceship afar from Rex. However, Waxer was before Rex. A far deeper impact. Both devastating, but one was hands-on. And Rex was crushed. He was both devastated and furious simultaneously. Disgust ran through his veins. Forget the Republic. Forget the chain of command. Krell had to be dealt with now. So, Rex committed mutiny against Krell. All of his troopers went and took on the Jedi. After a long extended skirmish, Rex and the 501st managed to subdue the General. Rex felt relief. Finally, there would be order in the Republic again. But the damage had been done. This had shaken the very foundation of what Captain Rex stood for. This had done damage to the image of the Republic for him. Everything he spent his life doing was now flawed. And I think this is perfectly represented when Fives tells him that General Kenobi's battalions have routed the last Umbarans, and we've secured all sectors. We did it. We took Umbara. Rex gazed beyond him. What's the point of all this? Why? Fives shrugged. I don't know, sir. I don't think anybody does. But I do know that someday this war is going to end. Rex's disquiet was not so easily dismissed. Then what? We're soldiers. What happens to us then? Fives had no answer. Together, they watched as the gunship carrying Dogma flew off. It's more than clear that Rex is now wavering in his support of the Republic. Before it was steadfast, and now there's this doubt, a seed of doubt, and I think this seed of doubt perfectly shows the coming events of Order 66 and how Rex will be able to turn against the Republic for the greater good. This is amazing foreshadowing by everyone in charge of the Clone Wars, by everyone working on the Clone Wars. This is just brilliant story writing, brilliant foreshadowing, and just really, really well done. And I really like what Yoon Ha Lee did, adapting the story but making it more personal, making it more of an in-depth experience of what Rex was feeling himself. I think it's beautifully done, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I definitely added a lot of my own insights to this, you know, if you agree with what I was saying, I'd love to hear it. If you disagree, that's fully understandable too. I totally get it, and I'd love to hear what you think about my interpretations of everything that went down. I'd love to hear your thoughts on doing this more in the future. I mean, would you like to hear more of this? I also purchased the Death Troopers book, a book I've been wanting to read for ages, and I think it'll be kind of cool to read that, and maybe we can do another one of these with that. And then there's also some comics I found online that could be kind of neat to do. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to hit the like button. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.